All right, welcome back to the channel. We are back talking about this lightweight division and the young champions, contenders in that division, specifically Teofimo Lopez, the IBF champion, and Ryan Garcia. I was thinking, does Ryan Garcia have a belt? No, he does not have a belt, but he got a big mouth and he's got a big promoter. So he's been bumping his lips a lot. Teofimo Lopez has something to say about him. Let's talk about that and the lightweights, these young lightweights in this video. All right, welcome back, welcome back. So we have been having a lot of really good and funny exchanges going on between fighters during this Corona lockout. You have at the welterweight division, you have Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, both leaving messages. Adrian Brawner's talking a lot. Charlo's going back and forth with Terrence Crawford. But in the lightweight division, man, you have also, in the heavyweight division, you got, Tyson Fury, Dillian White. Deontay Wilder's not talking much, but, just that's the only thing people really can do in boxing right now is, talk smack back and forth with one another. And the best division for that right now is the lightweight division with all of the guys in the lightweight division going back and forth with one another. Those and the main guys in the lightweight division are Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez. Now, Ryan Garcia has probably been the most vocal, at least during the beginning of the lockout. He was the one that was really, talking a lot of smack about Gervonta Davis. I haven't actually heard him say anything about Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez now has something to say about him, and I think it's pretty daggone funny, man, but not necessarily true. So Teofimo Lopez, who's the IBF lightweight champion, who is about to go into a fight whenever we get back from all this stuff. He's about to go into a fight with Vasily Lomachenko to unify belts, and they would unify the IBF, the WBA, and I do believe the WBO, because the WBC is actually, in limbo, unless, of course, you consider Vasily Lomachenko's franchise championship as him being the WBC champion. I don't do that. I think I treat all those franchise belts as if they vacated the title, and I don't even count them. Now, there's only two franchise guys in boxing, thank God, Vasily Lomachenko and Canelo Alvarez. And there's been a lot of backlash against the WBC for that belt. So not more than likely, I'm hoping that doesn't spread. That was just kind of a one-off thing, a mistake they made, and now they're going to correct it. But regardless, those belts, all of the belts with the exception of the WBC, are on the line when Vasily Lomachenko fights Teofimo Lopez. Now, Ryan Garcia is somebody who's in the same age range as Teofimo Lopez, but yet is being moved along more slowly by his promoter, which is Golden Boy Promotions. But he has had, in his last two fights, performances that have a lot of people very, very excited, right? He knocked out Jason Duno, and then he knocked out, and I think it was in the first round. I think he might have Ryan Garcia. I'm pretty sure he has back-to-back first-round knockouts. One against the last one against Francisco Fonseca, and the one before that against Jason Duno. Both of those guys are, they're good fighters. They're, Fonseca's been in the ring before with champions like Gervonta Davis, who did knock him out. But he's a good fight. He's definitely a good test, I thought, for a guy like Ryan Garcia at that stage of his career. Jason Duno was, that was kind of a matchup of two young fighters, guys around the same age. I didn't know why anybody thought Jason Duno had a chance to pull that off, but Jason Duno got sparked out, and that was it. So Ryan Garcia, rightfully so, is feeling himself and feeling, hey man, this is time. He wants to push forward and get a championship fight. He's trained by Eddie Reynoso, who is the same trainer for Canelo Alvarez. Now, my understanding is that Canelo Alvarez, Eddie Reynoso believes that Ryan Garcia has at least another 2 or 3 fights before he fights for the championship. But, really that's not that long, considering that Ryan Garcia could be somebody that could fight 3 times in a year. That might be a year from now that Ryan Garcia would be fighting for a major championship. Now, I wouldn't say it's my prediction, because I'm not going to go so far as to predict that Teofimo Lopez is going to beat Vasily Lomachenko, but I do think that there's a significant chance that will happen. There's a lot of things about Teofimo Lopez and a lot of things about the way that this fight is being set up that are just, bells are going off on my head. Like, man, put some money on Teofimo Lopez, because Vasily Lomachenko has looked more vulnerable in several of his last fights. Teofimo Lopez he did much better against Richard Comey than I had expected him to do, man. It was just easy money for him. Got a good fighter named Richard Comey out of there. But most importantly, this is the type of fight that, is made for upsets. A young up and coming fighter who a promotional company can rest their organization on the shoulders of, versus an older fighter whose best days are definitely behind him. And, I just don't believe, I think there's a significant chance that Matchroom might be making that fight so that they can get Teofimo Lopez the best springboard possible to stardom. And I don't think for a lightweight I don't think as lightweight in the lightweight division that there's a bigger fight to catapult you, with the exception maybe of a Gervonta Davis fight. So anyway, that said, there is a chance that when Ryan Garcia is ready for for a legitimate title shot, that Teofimo Lopez might be the guy that's sitting there waiting for him. So Teofimo Lopez kind of disses him a little bit and says that he thinks that Ryan Garcia is like a Oscar De La Hoya type fighter without the skills. Now, if you're familiar with Oscar De La Hoya falls into, and here I want to be very, I don't want to get myself in trouble here. I don't mean this in any type of I don't mean to stereotype people, but in boxing, man, this is what I see. There's been a strand of the quote unquote pretty boy Mexican fighters. From Oscar De La Hoya, there might have been somebody before that. I don't know if Salvador Sanchez got promoted in that particular fashion. I don't think he did, but Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy. Then you had he managed Canelo Alvarez, or promoted Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez gets a lot of that same treatment. And then you have now Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia, he looks like one of them, little pretty boys, man. So, there's going to be a lot. And matter of fact, the story about that I have related to that, the first time I really realized it, because, man, they all look like boxers to me. But once you see women react a certain way, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is what they're on. So I was watching the Blair Cobb fight. Woo! Because I have a friend that's close. With Blair Cobb. So I was watching Blair Cobb fight, and that was on the prelim to the Ryan Garcia Francisco Fonseca fight. So I'm sitting there watching the fight, and my friend's wife is Mexican, so her mother was there. She was there, her mother was there, and they, were watching the fights kind of glary-eyed. And then Ryan Garcia came on. They were like, "Who was that? Is he related? Is he the son of Oscar De La Hoya?" So I was like, "All right." That's the reaction that he's gonna get from women. Okay, it is like an Oscar De La Hoya thing, but I think that Teofimo Lopez would be making a very bad mistake if he thinks that that Ryan Garcia is not somebody that has skills. I think that because number one, Oscar De La Hoya is a gritty fighter. Okay, that was a gritty fighter. I ain't big on all the stuff after. Leaving all his personal stuff aside that happened, after the retirement from boxing, or at least became known after his retirement from boxing. Put all that stuff away. Man, Oscar De La Hoya is one of the best. Is a great champion. Put it that way. It's a great champion that, unlike Canelo Alvarez, fought everybody, man. Fought situations where, he was the underdog. I mean, he did not have to fight a Bernard Hopkins. the idea that Oscar De La Hoya would give Bernard Hopkins a fight, man, it's not something he had to do, man, because he was pay-per-view big time no matter who he fought. But he had the toughness to fight Bernard Hopkins. I would hope and expect the same thing out of Ryan Garcia. I don't think now that Ryan Garcia is going to beat Teofimo Lopez, but I would give him a little bit more credit than what Teofimo Lopez did. But I hope that we're able to see this fight between the two. I hope that this whole new pack of lightweights, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, I hope that all these guys come together and fight one another, because if so, man, it really could be like a mini golden era in the lightweight division. They're all good fights. They all got intriguing stories. They all got different fan bases. It would be wonderful to see. So let's hope that the fight happens. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.